I then now move on to the next presenter, which is Clive Butker, who is from Kalon Ventures. Welcome, Clive.
Thank you.
Clive is a main participant in the technology sector in South Africa. So over to you, Clive, to share with us your views.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff, and welcome to all the viewers. So just a quick bit of background about myself before I kick off. So I was the ex-CEO of Accenture South Africa. I spent 28 years at Accenture, and a lot of that time was spent working all over the world in the entrepreneurial ecosystems, building tech businesses. I then was the leadership of one of the sales leaders of Accenture in South Africa before I became the CEO. I headed up the technology business and also headed up the technology sales business for many countries around the globe. So I retired at 2012, and after my retirement, I followed my passion and my dreams, which really were helping businesses grow. And I initially joined Jeff at Grovest, but then I formed my own about 5.5 years ago. I formed my own venture capital company called Kalon Venture Partners to focus specifically on very disruptive digital innovation-led technology entrepreneurs. So just to move on to the first slide, so that's the Kalon board. We have, as you can see there, we've got 9 members, 8 board members, and one is Lauren, who's our COO. We believe one of the most experienced boards in South Africa. I'm not going to go through each of the names in the interest of time, but we have over 200 years experience of building businesses, building tech businesses, buying and selling and exiting businesses. And a number of our board, including myself, have bought and sold businesses. So a lot of experience, and we provide knowledge, networks, and capital. So knowledge in terms of mentorship capital, knowledge in terms of how to help grow these technology businesses, networks in terms of our networks to get human capital, our networks to open up doors, and then capital to provide capital to help our businesses grow. The way we see ourselves as Kalon, we see ourselves as the entrepreneurs behind the entrepreneurs. We are operators. We are not the accountants, and no disrespect to the accountants or the actuaries or the lawyers. We are the entrepreneurs. So I'm an entrepreneur. Many of us are entrepreneurs, and we work for our entrepreneurs behind the entrepreneurs. We have in our fund 2 that we are raising capital for. We've raised over 100 million. In total, we've raised over 200 million. But we are raising into fund 2, and we have 7 investments, and these are the 7 investments we have in fund 2. The one I'm not going to talk about, which is our latest investment, which is IX at the bottom there, which we invested into 2 Yale graduates, one American, one South African, and they really are reinventing edtech and education technology for the 21st century. And majority of their clients right now are in the US at some of the top 50 universities in the United States. And we're going to start rolling that out to parts of South Africa, parts of Africa, and all over the world. But I'm just going to spend a few minutes now on each of the other 6 companies on how we're actually doing. What's been very important as these 6 companies, as we wait for the next slide, what has been very important is that these companies have been COVID beneficiaries and have not suffered during the COVID time. And so I'll speak to each of these businesses and how they really have been through the COVID time and how they are continuing to grow post the COVID, or still in the COVID era, but how they continue to grow. The first business I'll talk about is Ozo. I'm sure many of you have used Ozo. Ozo is a payment service provider. It's electronic funds transfer. It transfers money. You go into an internet site like Superbalist or Takealot. You buy something and you transfer money from your bank account to the merchant's bank account. We've had a revenue growth of 79%. So the first 1 billion rand of payments through Ozo took 2 years, 9 months, and 16 days. And the last billion in November took 26 days. So that's the growth that we've seen. When we invested in Ozo, they were about 15 million, and they're an order of magnitude higher than that 15 million at the moment. They had about 20 people. They've now got about 80 people in the Ozo organization. We did about 3.5 million rand transactions last month, and we set our gross merchant value, so the amount of money going through the platform, was about 1.3 billion. What's very exciting about Ozo is we came in an average of about 250 million rand post-money valuation, and they're raising capital from some of the top venture capitalists around the globe at the moment at, again, an order of magnitude higher than what we came in at. So very, very exciting venture, which is Ozo. The next one is Fin Chatbot, which is a conversational bot. So we're in about 20 of the top clients in South Africa, and we've just now moved offshore. We've raised capital from a number of French investors, and we are raising capital now from a Portuguese investor who are putting in €1 million, and we just raised $1 million from those French investors. We've now, with our CEO, has re-domiciled to Europe. He's working out of France and he's working out of Portugal, and we've re-domiciled the company to Luxembourg, and we're scaling this company at a rapid rate. And this really is about conversion of customers. It's a far more effective way of converting customers from the old way. It's far cheaper, far quicker, and that's where we're getting the traction, where we grew 77% last year, and we continue to raise further capital at a much higher valuation and getting a lot more revenue traction. So the next company is, let's wait till it shows on the screen. The next company is Flow. Now, this is a property tech company, what you call prop tech. Now, Flow is it brings buyers, sellers, and renters, with your tenants and with your property agents and your developers. Flow has grown, as you can see from the slide, 36% month-on-month growth, and new clients, and a 38% month-on-month growth in revenue. During the last month, it actually grew at over 50%. So you can work that out. We're growing 50% per month. We're doubling the business every 2 months. So unbelievable traction we're getting, and this is really taking on the likes of private property and Property 24. We have access to about 20 million South Africans on a daily basis, and now, as I said, moving the dial in terms of converting renters and buyers from your property developers. Our next company is Senmark. Senmark is a cybersecurity company. Very exciting company. We just made our second investment into Senmark. We also had Endeavor Global, which is the entrepreneurial organization. They also invested into Senmark. Senmark it's a cybersecurity company which makes the world of the internet a safer place. It's phishing and spoofing. So I can't go into Jeff Miller's Grovest account from my account and actually send you an email, which potentially could be a fraudulent email. So once you're protected with Senmark, no one can actually defraud you on the Senmark account. We check about 300 million emails per month, and we've got over 200 clients and over 800 clients in trial. I just spoke to the guys now. They just signed another 25 clients this month and did over 100,000 rands worth of revenue. So we're growing 30% to 40% every single month, and we've done that. We've grown 1,500% since beginning of last year. So very much a highly scalable technology company. Our second last company is called Mobus. Mobus is a digital marketing company which hyper-personalizes your digital responses. So what you can do is, let's just take Sportsman's Warehouse. If Sportsman's Warehouse give us their database, we will send, let's say they have 1 million customers, we'll send a million hyper-personalized SMSs to your, as an SMS. You'll go to that SMS, and every single person, Jeff would get one. If Jeff is a golfer, he would get the golfing equipment they're selling at Sportsman's Warehouse. I do a lot of boxing and martial arts. They would send me the boxing and martial arts equipment, so they can send every single customer, which is hyper-personalized. It's also zero-rated, so this can go to the bottom end of the pyramid. People that don't have access on their data, they'll be able to use Mobus to access this hyper-personalized. What's very exciting about Mobus, we grew last year from 16 to 64 million in revenue, and it continues that growth, and we're raising capital now at $30 million, which is significantly higher than what we raised at 2 years ago. Last but not least is a company called CarScan, which is an augmented reality company. What it does, it takes a picture of exactly what your car looks like using augmented reality. And we've got a number of insurance companies, a number of car buy and sell dealers that use our technology. So when you have an accident, you don't have to call your insurance company and have an assessor. You can just immediately use CarScan, and it will take a picture using 360-degree. It'll automatically go to the panel beater. They'll be able to give you a quote in 5 minutes, and the whole process will take an hour from typically 2 to 3 to 4 weeks of taking that before. We've just signed a very exciting agreement with Cars 45 in Nigeria. It's the largest car buy and sell market in Nigeria. They operate in 14 African countries. It's part of OLX, and as you would know, OLX is part of the whole Tencent and Naspers group. I'm not going to talk about our experience. So just to go to the, sorry, let me see if I can get there. So just quickly in terms of growth, our lowest growth we had last year in our 6 companies we have in our portfolio. Remembering to invest now in Kalon, you're investing in these 6 companies plus our experience. So our lowest growth was 77%, our highest growth was over 1,000%. So with these businesses, MOBA's 400%, and a lot of them are confidential about exact growth figures, but these are the sort of growth we experienced over the last year, and we continue to experience this growth. Our share price, as you can see there, people that invested at 1,100 Rand, the share price excluding CGT is 1,502 Rand. And for people that invested in February 19, you're sitting at a 35%, 2%, or a 16.8% IRR, internal rate of return. That's cumulative annual growth rate. Or if you invested last year at February 20, you're sitting at a 77.3%, including your taxes, or including taxes, and excluding taxes, 36.4%. So I think that's it. I hope we've confirmed that there are really high returns. We're not a dividend-paying venture capital company, but we look at returning about a 30% IRR return, and the share price is the same share price as we raised in February, which is 1,400 Rand per share, and the minimum investment is 70,000 Rand. So thank you very much. Hopefully many of you join the Kalon community, and I appreciate you taking the time out to join us here today.
Thank you, Clive. I don't have any Q's and A's, but one question that I consistently get asked about people who want to invest in tech in South Africa is, how does the South African tech compare to that of the international markets, that be whether it's European or whether it's America, Silicon Valley, etc.?
Yeah, Jeff, you know, I've worked in Silicon Valley, and I've worked in India, and I've worked in Boston and New York, and what we're finding, the technologies are basically the same. I think the big difference is really the access to capital. So if you really are inventing the next cure to cancer, or you're inventing the next automotive car, you're not going to do that in South Africa. We just don't have that level of access to capital. But the capital-light, capital-efficient businesses we invest in, take Oza as an example, we've got investors now, some of the top investors around the world, who are already invested in payments, who are looking at Oza as including it part of their portfolio. They don't have an Oza anywhere around the globe at the moment. So Jeff, you know, in all honesty, we have unbelievable entrepreneurs. We have unbelievable ideas. A lot of them can execute and build big businesses. You just don't have the capital to take these to the, you know, to the unicorn type businesses. We need to access external capital to take them to the billion-dollar businesses. But that's what our mandate and our mantra is to do, is to build the next couple of African unicorns from South Africa, and we can export them to the rest of the world.
So I think, and more specifically, the talent. Would you say that the talent in South Africa is as good as you can get all over the world?
You know, that's an interesting question, because the COVID has changed talent. You know, COVID before, you had to have your talent in your office, so you could see everyone that clock in, that come in, and that see you every single day. We have access to the best talent in the world now. So Carscan, as an example, we've got about 15 people, 10 of them are actually sitting in India, some of the most experienced software engineers that you can find in India. What you're finding with all our companies now, through COVID, we can hiring people from the best talent from right across the globe that can actually work in your organizations. This is what's happening in Silicon Valley as well. A lot of those companies are actually going to the cheaper parts of the US and actually building their companies, and they never actually meet their people. They have their people they hire from all over the world, just like we're doing at the moment. So talent is, yes, we prefer to hire South African talent, but when it's very, very specific type of talent we're looking for, we've got access to the globe to hire the best talent for our 7 companies in the fund you'd be investing in.
Great. And then just lastly, how much capital have you got currently under management?
So we have over 200 million, about 210 million, Jeff, and we're looking to get to about $250 million. And then we've got about 100 million of that we've still got to deploy. And we've got about 200 million rands in deal flow. So we have no problem with deploying this capital, and that's actually why I'm sitting here today, to actually to raise further capital, because we have some exceptional deal flow from South African tech entrepreneurs.
Clive, thank you so much for joining us. Always nice to have you and to get you to share the updates on your portfolio, which is very interesting to see how they're growing from month to month. So best of luck with your capital raise.
Thank you very much, Jeff, and thanks for the opportunity.